Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a quick guide on how to beat CC7, Risk 18, Day 1. All footage that you're about to see is from a 2-week-old CN account, and this is how I beat it. The choice of contracts is mainly focused on buffing the enemies, slight weakening of your units, and then just taking all the really easy ones. The main thing that you're avoiding is buffing the boss or buffing the explosions of the Smarties, because you are quite squishy and the Smarties will absolutely wreck you, and also the boss will hit a little bit too hard. You're going to borrow Chen. Now in this video I don't have an M3 Chen to borrow because I just didn't have enough friends at the time, but if you do have one, it makes it even easier. However, as I'm going to demonstrate, you don't need that, and in fact I've also got footage of me using a M1 Chen and it still worked, so you really don't need it. Right, as for the roster, here you can see Beanstalk. Beanstalk is the second most important unit after Chen. You don't have to have Beanstalk, she just makes it much easier, because Beanstalk does the job of 2 units in 1. You can see she's both giving us DP as a Vanguard and blocking and killing enemies on the left side. If you don't have Beanstalk, that's okay. Just use Cruise plus Fang or Vanilla to hold there instead. Then you're going to get down your Vanguards. Now Fang in this case is just there to give me a little bit of extra DP because I didn't have the skill levels on my other Vanguards to make up for it. So sometimes you might need 3 Vanguards, but if they're leveled, then you should only need 2. Also later on I'll be showing a variant clear as well. So after you've set up and deployed, you've got Chen. Then Gravel is just there occasionally to just stall the bigger guys. And as you see right there, Chen survived with just about a third of her HP. If we'd made the Smarties any stronger, then she doesn't survive that. What makes Chen so good on this stage is that nice, lovely snaking U-bend is perfect, and it allows her to kill those torpedo looking guys before they escape. And you're going to drop in Gravel just to keep blocking those guys. It just keeps them in range of Chen's attack. Almost every unit you see here can be replaced by someone else. Phantom doesn't have to be here. If you've got another fast redeploy like Project Red, that's really good. But even if you don't have that, someone like Yato is perfectly fine. Irene isn't necessary. Right, so once you've got 23 kills, look at the enemy at the top, 23 kills, that's when you retreat Chen. You want to retreat her as fast as possible because you're going to need to redeploy her later. Another advantage of Beanstalk is that she can delay the movement of the boss. By activating her skill, it makes the boss need to do another attack, which slows the boss down. At this point, what you're doing is you're just stalling him to get him to pop his shield. You need him to pop his shield before he reaches the center, because when he reaches the center, he will sit there for a bit. Right, so there's the shield. You can just retreat. Because we haven't buffed the boss, the explosion on his shield is not going to affect Beanstalk or Susura. Now here's a very important point. You're going to see Orchid come in. Now Orchid just needs to be level 1. Any slower will do. Orchid's just the most accessible. Then you just need her to do 1 hit on the enemy. There's 2 there, but shouldn't have needed it. And it's just to slow down the front one so it hits the back one, because they're slightly out of sync, and that gets rid of the 2 Smarties at once. Then you're going to redeploy Chen, this time facing left. And see how the boss stopped there for a bit. He just did nothing, and then he started moving. If he gets to the middle before he triggers his shield, the shield stall plus the random stall in the middle of the map will both happen at the same time, which you don't want. You want him to do the shield stall first, then the middle of the map stall, which gives you more time to put down Chen. Very important over here, this firecracker is going to be used to flip the color of the left torpedo, and therefore he turns white, which means that Gummy can block all 3. Now, There's an early torpedo that we let leak at the start. If for whatever reason you can kill that, you can then use, just let this later torpedo leak. And then that allows you to keep the firecracker and use it on the boss phase 2 to swap him again to the same color as whoever's tanking, because he swaps colors when he transitions between phase 1 and phase 2. Now over here, we're taking it a little slow until the shield comes up, then you activate the skill. Now, you don't necessarily have to wait because you may be doing enough damage anyway, but this is just a safer way. You wait until the shield is up, then you activate. Irene is dropped in here just for some extra damage. He's really not needed, and you can just use someone like Midnight or really any damage to do some bonus. Just do try to have them in the range of the healer. Now this is where the second firecracker could come in handy to swap the boss back to white. Therefore he won't do big damage to whoever's tanking. So just activate the healer skills to keep your team alive. Telepsis doesn't have to be there. It can be Perfumer. It can be another single target healer. It's fine. With Irene, you can also replace that with another healing defender, and that will also help. And that's it. It's really quite simple to kill the boss. Just follow the deployment order of the Vanguards and the timing of Chen, and that's really it. Don't forget Orchid, or you can even use like Project Red or Phantom Skill 3 to delay the enemies. Now, I'm going to show you a variant where if your units aren't quite strong enough and you need to use more units at once. So this is one where we increase the squad size. In exchange, we increase enemy health. And we also reduce the DP penalty, but buff the boss a little bit. It's compensated by the fact that we can put down more units on the field at once. Same squad. Exia is not needed. She's just there. The main reason why you're seeing the units that I've got here is because those were the units that were leveled up on a brand new account. But it doesn't have to be Exia. It could just be another single target sniper. The main thing is you just use her to do a bit of extra damage against the boss. So Beanstalk once again. If you can use Beanstalk, it's really helpful. So Beanstalk has to go down first because she needs to be able to... She needs to be ready to block the guy. The first guy on the left. Otherwise, there's a good chance that he might leak. This Fang as well is unpromoted. So she's just there for a little bit, just a little bit of extra DP. But we shouldn't really need that in this version of it because we have reduced the DP contract. It's no longer as penalizing. So it's Beanstalk, then Myrtle, then Fang, then Chen. Chen has to go down right after the Vanguards, just so there's enough time for her skill to charge. Remember, this is not a full mastery Chen, so if you can get an M3-1, it'll be much more effective. Susuro, of course. Now, Susuro needs to be as far right as you can. Again, you don't need Phantom. It can just be Yato. It's perfectly fine. You just need someone occasionally to block while Gravel is on cooldown, and just for a little bit of damage. So Chen will massacre everyone at this point, because it's just too easy with that slow to kill them as they go around the corner. So it's 21, which is not yet. You have to wait until 23 kills at the top. These last two over here. And then Chen finishes the last guy off. Retreat Chen. Now here comes the boss. So you see, activating Beanstalk, he has to turn around and fight the plant. So with this contract that buffs the boss a little bit, you may need some extra damage to deal with him, but because you can bring out more units on the field at one time, it should not be a problem. Yeah, so the shield is activated just in time. Just play around with your ability to trigger that shield early. That's really just in time. He's about to reach the center, which you see, moves a little bit forward, and that's where he stalls. Then here comes Orchid. You wait for the first explosion, then you stall the first Smarty. You flip the color of the Smarty, and then they both blow up because you've delayed the front one. And then the final two go in and pop. You drop in preferably someone like Gummy to tank in the middle. If you've got Mountain, he's the best. He's absolutely amazing for that position. And in fact, with Mountain, you can kill the first torpedo guy as he goes past. Just deploy Mountain right away. Don't forget to flip the color of the left torpedo. So that's 3 enemies on Gummy. And the strategy from here on is pretty much the same, except because you've got a few extra slots, you can do more units to one with some more damage, but that is compensated by having taken one of the contracts to buff the boss. Now, over here, I'm being very cautious, waiting for the shield to come up, and then I activate. Because the more you buff the boss, the more difficult it is to break through that shield, and it's absolutely crucial that you break through this shield. Gravel is deployed there just to take some fire from when he goes to the second phase. He attacks 2 targets at once. So you can just put down another healing defender preferably, or someone like Gravel just to distract the boss. And again, it doesn't have to be Telopsis. Perfumer works just fine as well. Just don't forget to activate the skill in phase 2 to compensate for the split damage that he does. And make sure you pay attention to your deployment order if you're going to deploy someone like I did with Exia over there. Doesn't have to be Exia, just any extra damage will do. Quite frankly, if you have a stronger Chen, then you don't need the extra damage at all. So that's it. That's the guide to beating CC7, Risk 18, Day 1 on a brand new account. And if that can be done on a 2-week-old account, then anyone can do it. You just need an E2 unit so that you can borrow an E2 Chen, preferably with Mastery 3 on Skill 3. That's it. It's that simple. Good luck with the clear, and I will see you again very soon. Good night.